Just a couple of days into February 2025, one of the most unhinged trades in NBA history took the internet by storm, and when the dust settled, Luka Doncic was a Laker. Fans were stunned, the internet descended into a frenzy, but what about the players? Does the league understand the move from the inside? How do the players feel about Luka? Let's find out. The Luka to LA trade itself was bizarre. The Dallas Mavericks traded their prize piece off the back of a conversation with the Lakers, and the Lakers alone. No other team in the NBA knew he was available, nor had they received a call from Dallas to at least offer up a bid. Luka is 25 years old, fresh off the back of his first appearance in the NBA Finals last season in a 4-1 series loss to the Boston Celtics. It felt as though he was entering the prime era of his career, a superstar at a young age, finally prepared to power the Mavs back into title contention. But less than 9 months later, he found himself on a plane to LA, thrust into the purple and gold of the Lakers, shell-shocked as to what had just happened. He'll suit up alongside LeBron, at least for now, with a plan to become the future of the Lakers organization. The obvious place to start is LeBron. In the twilight of his career, you best believe the team around him matters to the legend now more than ever. At the announcement of the trade, LeBron said,
"Listen, Luka's a big-time player, 25 years old. Haven't even reached his prime yet, and he's done some amazing shit in our league already. I'm happy to have him. LA's happy to have him, and it's still a little bit surreal, honestly, to be honest."
Of course, this isn't the first time a team has orchestrated a mega trade to pair a star with LeBron. The man the Lakers just traded for Luka being the most recent occurrence, but perhaps the stars aligning for Luka and LeBron in LA was a long time coming, far longer than you might imagine. In December 2018, LeBron put Luka Doncic on a list of great players he'd like to play with in the remaining years of his career. Back then, the Slovenian guard was a mere rookie, 20 years old with very limited NBA experience to his name. But LeBron could see just how high his potential was back then, and Luka was keen to impress. The first time the two featured against one another in 2020, Luka asked LeBron for his jersey during the game. James signed it with a note, reading, "Strive for greatness." When Doncic came over to the NBA, he was very clear about LeBron being his idol. He was nervous to play against him, but LeBron always had his back. Over the years, he's commended him on his attitude as a pro, his maturity for his age, and together they have always had a warm relationship during All-Star games and matchups against one another during the season. And now, on the same team, LeBron can mentor young Luka Doncic every single day. The veteran found out about the trade while out at dinner, at first believing it was a hoax. When he FaceTimed Anthony Davis and eventually understood the news to be true, it was time to lock in on the new look lineup. "Luka's been my favorite player in the NBA for a while now," James said. "I think you guys know that. And I've always just tried to play the game the right way and inspire the next generation. And Luka happens to be one of them. And now we're teammates. So it'll be a very seamless transition." Luka Doncic had already been part of a superstar trade, only the last time it wasn't him being traded. The Mavs had looked to pair him with another experienced ball handler, so the team stood a better chance of clutching up in the playoffs when defenses doubled or even tripled Luka. The answer was a former teammate of LeBron's, Kyrie Irving. In February of 2023, Kyrie was traded from the Brooklyn Nets to Dallas, and while a veteran, the move was considered capable of shaking up the rankings in the West. Sure enough, in their first full season together, the Dallas Mavericks entered the NBA playoffs as the 5th seed. They beat the Clippers, Thunder, and Timberwolves on their way to the finals, and had it not been for the dominance of the Celtics, Luka might already have a ring. When asked about the trade after the fact, fans got a strong feeling that there was a lot more he wanted to say. Irving gestured towards picking up the pieces multiple times, and the belief around the fan base in Dallas now is that he'll opt out of his contract at the end of what's expected to be a very underwhelming remainder of the 2024-25 season. In a presser the two shared, Kyrie showed a lot of love for Luka.
I think this guy next to me has pushed me to continue to work on my game and continue to develop as a young leader. And I think the big word that we both can agree on is just maturity. Coming into Dallas, I was dealing with a lot, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and they embraced me with open arms. You know, eventually that I would get him to open up. This guy's a big teddy bear at times off the court, big competitor. Okay, I'll say a teddy bear that likes to compete. You know, he's still ducking me in dominoes, but you know, I think at times, you know, I just have to sit back and marvel at his talent and his ability to get outside his comfort zone. And you know, I enjoy watching him be a father. I enjoy watching him, you know, develop as a person first, and then the basketball stuff will take care of it.
Mavs fans understandably feel robbed of a duo they loved, and one they truly believed could win it all together. Kyrie clearly feels some type of way about the trade too, and while Anthony Davis is no slouch going the other way, Kyrie had a bond with Luka, and now it's gone. When the trade happened, Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns were in the middle of a game. From the bench, Durant and his teammates appeared perplexed, and the look on his face was enough to determine just how much of a blockbuster this trade truly was. Bradley Beal and Durant were recorded looking around puzzled, questioning whether the trade was real or not. And when it had been confirmed, Durant called out the Mavericks for trading their star player, noting that players are held to a different standard of loyalty than the organizations are. Few are more outspoken or chaotic than Dillon Brooks, who is now playing with the Houston Rockets after spending the first 6 seasons of his NBA career with the Memphis Grizzlies. Brooks has embodied the villain's role on the court, including scrappy matchups with Luka Doncic. Luka has broken his ankles a number of times, and there's been more than enough trash talk when they do play one another, something Doncic isn't shy about with anybody. But Brooks actually made a bizarre comment about the Slovenian star that nobody really expected. He put Luka at the front of his list of the toughest players to guard, along with the likes of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but he went one step further, announcing that in his mind, and in few words, Luka was simply the best ever. And Luka hasn't backed down from a challenge with anybody. He'll talk trash to any and everyone and then back it up with buckets. On the court, he runs his mouth. But as soon as the games are over, he's respectful of his opponents. It was true with Dillon Brooks, and the same for a young talent in Memphis, Vince Williams Jr. Williams has been around the league since 2022, and Luka got into it with him on the court. The young Grizzlies' talent wouldn't stop jawing with Doncic during the game, but it was Doncic that eventually drew a technical foul, and he addressed it in the presser.
I was just talking shit the whole time. I was back. I told him I wish let me play one-on-one. That's when I got attacked. So I don't know if the refs gotta just let us talk. It's part of the game. I love it. I think he's a great defender.
I couldn't find a comment from Williams, but the trash talk is everywhere with Luka, before he's quick to remind you that it's all in the name of the passion for winning, and it stays between the lines. Strictly business. Many stars weighed in on the trade to LA after the fact. It's a shockwave the NBA hasn't felt in a long time, at least not at that magnitude. Anthony Edwards, whose Timberwolves fell to Luka and the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals just a few months ago, said he felt bad for Luka.
25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded. Because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man.
Steph Curry had similar comments, noting the sheer brutality of the NBA and that nobody is safe.
Maybe only a few in this league that can go to sleep with any type of confidence, but you'll still be there. It's kind of a very unique situation across the board, but I think just the idea that it happened in silence was pretty crazy.
Steph has been a big supporter of Luka over the past few seasons. He truly believes he's destined to be one of the greats. In 2023, he said, "Luka is the guy, obviously. That's right on the precipice of accomplishing all those accolades, and just what he's about as a player. When you play against him, you can feel it. There are few whose words mean more in the current game than Steph Curry. And now that Luka's teamed up with LeBron, is there a chance that Curry's prophecy comes true before James retires from the NBA? Meanwhile, James Harden believes Luka is just like him. When he was traded to the Clippers in 2023, he was asked about the playing style of the new look lineup. His response nodded toward Luka's season in Dallas. "It's definitely going to involve a lot of me. There was talk when I was in Houston, you can't win like that. You just saw a guy last season make the finals playing the exact same way I played." Naturally, those comments drew mixed opinions and a lot of backlash. Fans were quick to claim that Luka and Harden aren't in the same conversation, nor the same universe. But again, high praise from one of the stars of the NBA, as is a common theme with Luka Doncic, both for his talent and the way he carries himself as a young man. Few would have been more surprised and likely disappointed by the trade than Dirk Nowitzki. An all-time Dallas legend, NBA champion with the organization in 2011, and a great whose career was reaching its last dance when Luka arrived as a rookie in 2018. While discussing Luka's greatness on Shaq's podcast, Dirk said,
"Just can't be rattled, and he's basically everything you throw at him, every coverage, every pick and roll coverage. He's seen it all, and he knows how to react. I mean, you've seen him up close. He is huge. He is a legit 6'8", 6'9", but the way he's built, he's just a physical guard. And any guard that's smaller than him, he just physically punishes them. Once he gets you on the shoulder, it's basically over. He just drives you down.
The two shared a strong bond in the relatively short time they spent together as teammates, but Dirk and Luka remain close, sharing European roots as stars in the NBA. An early role model for Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki is very clearly one of his biggest fans. And then there's Mark Cuban, who sold his majority stake in the team just last year, but knows the value of Luka Doncic in Dallas. According to reports, the billionaire businessman tried to block the trade before it happened, urging owner Patrick Dumont and general manager Nico Harrison not to trade their superstar. Unfortunately for Cuban, he no longer has the influence he once did, and the house he'd helped to build no longer exists as it once was. Luka Doncic is a Laker, whether those within the walls and sporting Mavs jerseys like it or not. 5-10 years from now, we'll look back at this trade with strong opinions one way or another. But as it looks right now, the fortune seems to favor the Los Angeles Lakers. With Dallas, we'll see.